Hi everyone, thanks so much for watching. In today's video, I'm gonna do a get ready with me. I'm gonna use my Shop My Stash products and I'm gonna update you guys on all my perimenopause stuff. So I do have a few updates. I did have a procedure done. I did see the gynecologist. We kind of have a bit of a plan. So I will link my previous video where I discussed all my perimenopause issues. I will link that up above in case you haven't seen that one and you're watching this one for the first time. I'm not going to retell the whole last year. So that would just be, this video would be 2 hours long. I'm just going to kind of pick up where that video left off. So, and then I did have a comment. I recently did a Shop My Stash video. Again, I'll link that in case you want to watch it. And somebody commented that it would be great to see these products in action. So I thought we would, you know, 2 birds, 1 stone. So I'm gonna use my Shop My Stash products. So some of these makeup products you probably have seen me use before, but when I used these the other day for the first time, I thought the makeup look turned out really nice. So I'm gonna do that today. We'll do it together and I'll update you guys on my perimenopause stuff. So I will link everything down below, but I'm gonna go in with the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Primer, one of my favorites. Look at it, almost done. It's so exciting. I get weirdly excited when I get close to being done products. Just a nice everyday hydrating primer. Okay, so I think in the last video where I talked about my perimenopause, and I may have updated you guys here and there, I can't remember, but in the last dedicated video I did about perimenopause, I had an appointment, I think that was in April. And I had an appointment with the gynecologist, and so I did see her, and the plan was for me to have a hysteroscopy, which is a scope, biopsies done, remove any polyps or anything she came into contact with in there, and do a D&C. And so on July 25th, I had that procedure done. So I'm gonna go in with the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, and I'm gonna kind of put that everywhere. And the reason for that is because the foundation I'm gonna use, I find it a little bit heavy looking, and I'm hoping maybe if we do this, it will, you know, make it a little more dewy, a little lighter even. So I'm just gonna quickly kind of blend that out. So on July 25th, I did have that procedure done, and you know what? It was fine. I recovered really well from it. I had like almost no discomfort. Honestly, it went really well. And so where I live, we have these portals where you can see like your results and stuff. I'm gonna go in with this foundation from ABH, and I'm just gonna try to really sheer it out because I feel like it looks pretty heavy, honestly. So I'm gonna put very little on. And so I could see just shortly after that was done that my biopsy results came back cancer-free. And so that was such a relief for me and, you know, my family. So that was quite a relief, honestly. Like, I was worried, right? So I was very much relieved to know that there's no cancer there. And then I had my follow-up with her on September 7th. And so when I went in, you know, that was the first thing she said, was that the results all came back cancer-free. And I should backtrack a little bit and say the first visit I had with her was very short. Like, she was only in that room for, honestly, a couple of minutes. And what had happened was, when I first got there, I don't know if she was running behind, or I'm sure she's super busy, but it was a resident, like somebody in training, and not even in training for gynecology, because him and I got talking and he was thinking of going into cardiology. But I guess they have to do stints in different specialties. I don't know. So anyways, he took all my information, like he wrote it all down and stuff. And so I would hope that she kind of looked it over, but my whole history. And so I didn't review my history with her when I was there for that first visit. And so when I went for this second visit for the follow-up, she said the first thing she said to me was there's no cancer, so that's really good. Biopsies came back negative. She said the procedure went really well, no issues. She asked how I was feeling, how I was doing, and then she asked about bleeding. And I said I hadn't had any bleeding in the 6 weeks since the procedure. And so she said, oh, that's very unusual. You should have had a period in the 6 weeks. Could you be pregnant? I said, no, ma'am. Because first of all, we were instructed not to be intimate for 6 weeks after that procedure. So, you know, for that reason and, you know, other reasons, my husband has had a vasectomy and stuff, and yeah, anyways, also gonna be 48. No, anyways, I said, no, there's no chance that I'm pregnant. And she said, okay, well, that's very unusual that you have not had a period. And she said, do you think you're perimenopausal? Because you're, you know, you're on the young end for that, which I thought was interesting because I thought I was kind of average age for perimenopause, but I guess 47. So I'll be 48 here in a few weeks. I guess that's early. I'm gonna go in with this KVD. This is actually a contour, but I just use it as a bronzer. Yeah, so she seemed to think that was early for perimenopause. And I felt like, well, I've been having perimenopause symptoms actually for years. Like, I would say 3 years with the hot flashes and stuff and night sweats. And so I was a bit surprised by that, but she seemed to think I was too young for perimenopause, or on the young end. I shouldn't say too young, but on the young end. But yeah, I said to her, hey, like, I have had almost every perimenopause symptom. Like, I don't know that there's any that I'm not experiencing at this point. Okay, and then for cream blush, I'm gonna go in with this from LYS. This product always is so surprising to me. I always feel like I dip in here, it's a cream blush, I dip in there and I don't get very much. And I think, oh, it's gonna be subtle. And then I tap, oh, it's gonna be so subtle. And then as I continue to tap, it just quickly gets quite bold on my very fair skin. So I have to just be a little bit careful with this. She seemed, again, a bit surprised by that. And she said, okay, well, and I said to her, like, I'm having so many perimenopause symptoms that honestly, I would really like to talk about hormone replacement therapy. Because you guys, in the last year, I'm gonna go off on a little tangent here about all the things that I have experienced. So I mentioned in my, I'm gonna go back in with the Charlotte Tilbury and just highlight a little bit. I mentioned in my previous video that I had been vaccinated in April, and this sort of kicked off some health issues for me. Again, not for or against the vaccine. That's not at all what this video is about. You know, I think everybody has their own views and stuff. So I received the first dose of the COVID vaccine in April of last year, 2021. My body just kind of freaked out, to be honest. The last year for me has been pretty shocking, the changes that have happened in my body. And I think I didn't even realize as they were happening some of the dramatic stuff I was seeing until I was, you know, until pretty recently. Like, do I have hot flashes? Absolutely. I have hot flashes. All my perimenopause symptoms sort of cycle. So they kind of cycle depending on, I don't know what, probably my hormone levels. But sometimes I'm perfectly fine, and I feel like I don't really even have any perimenopause symptoms. I went out for dinner with some girlfriends here not that long ago, and my hot flashes were one after the other after the other. We were in this restaurant, we were having this Indian food, it was delicious. I couldn't even enjoy myself because I was so on fire. Like, it was unbearable. I found myself, it was embarrassing. I found myself through that whole dinner. And some days are like that, and then some days I don't have a hot flash. Now, I do take sage pretty consistently, and the sage does help me. I'm gonna top all that with powder, really for no reason other than I have more story to tell, and I have them here in my Shop My Stash. So I'm gonna go in with this bronzer from GloWish. It was interesting, when she asked me if I'd had any symptoms, I thought, I really paused and I reflected back on this last year for me. And I had what I would say were pretty mild perimenopause symptoms the few years leading up. But this last year, I have had hot flashes. Like, no question, unbearable hot flashes, you guys. Hot flashes where I can't sleep, they keep me up at night. Sometimes it's not even hot flashes, it's just night sweats. I'm just sweating, my poor husband. And now we're in this small space and we're in this little tiny bed. You guys, the poor guy. He has been so understanding because it has been a roller coaster for me and for him. I'm gonna go in with this Clinique blush. So yeah, hot flashes, night sweats, up all night. Sometimes I just don't sleep. I'm just up. I have body aches and joint pain that is new, and there's no way. I feel like my body has aged 10 years in the last year. My body looks different even. Like visually when I look at it, my skin looks different. I've lost muscle. I have had a redistribution of the weight I carry. Now it's this paunch. I've got this belly, which I have never really had before. I kind of always had a pretty flat stomach. That is gone. I always sit with this little paunch. I've lost muscle. Like I just look, my body just looks older. A lot older though. Like that's the thing. It's not like I went from, you know, over like a 5-year or a 10-year amount of time. In a year, I can see these differences. I'm jigglier. My skin is looser. I've got stuff drooping, you know, quite shockingly, I would say actually. And I've seen those changes on my face as well. Hence I'm gonna go in with the Givenchy Prism Libre highlighter. You know, I know not everyone was on board for face filler. That video that I did had some pretty mixed comments. Like I said earlier, fair enough, right? Not gonna be for everybody. But I had really seen my face change in a year. And so if you don't know, I went and had jaw filler done. I had some filler here, I had lip filler, and I had Botox done. So that's why I did that. Like I was feeling so self-conscious, and I felt like my body had changed, my face had changed, my skin had changed. What other? I have days where I'm super sad. I have days where I'm raging. The rage, you guys. I didn't experience PMS. I mean, very, very mild if I did. The symptoms I experience now are unbelievable. Unbelievable. Like I really try to keep it to myself because I know it's me, but my husband can tell. Like there's just no hiding that I am raging. And it takes everything I've got to keep it to myself and not take it out on my family. Not even take it out, it's not the right word. Just not to have them notice. Because some days, oh, you guys, the rage is so bad. I have days where I'm exhausted, where I have no energy, and then I have days where I have tons of energy. Some days am so nauseous, just like being newly pregnant. Like the effect of the hormone changes on my body are all of the things. Like it's crazy to me the last year, the changes that I've had. Just crazy. What else have I had? I feel like everything. If you Google perimenopause symptoms, I don't know that there's any that I haven't had. I haven't had hair loss, I don't think, actually. And I do think that's one. But everything else, I think I've had. Okay, I might have got a little crazy with the highlighter over here. We'll have to just ignore that a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna go in with some eyeshadow now, and I'm gonna go in with this one from Galactic. I got this in a BoxyCharm box, and I've really been enjoying it. So yeah, when I was in with her, you know, I had asked about hormone replacement, and she said to me, okay, well, that's fine. We absolutely can talk about hormone replacement, but we need to figure out why you're not bleeding. Look how pretty that is. And it's so easy. I've really, really been enjoying this. I did wake up with some puffiness, so I don't know what that's all about, but definitely my eyes are a little bit puffy today. Probably something I ate yesterday. So anyways, I left her office with a prescription for progesterone, which was interesting to me because I went on the progesterone. I went on it initially, you know, months ago to stop the bleeding. And now she has me going on it to start the bleeding. And also she wanted to do blood work to check my hormone levels. I'm gonna do a little bit on the lower lash line as well. Again, I've just really been loving this product. So I went and had the blood work done, And I can't remember the name of the progesterone that she put me on, but it was different than the stuff I had been on before. And I did go and have blood work done, and she checked a whole bunch of things, but she did check some hormone levels as well. The first couple days on the progesterone, this one that she put me on, I had a headache. I had a headache for 2 days, and then I was super nauseated. Being nauseated for me is not uncommon. I really struggle with being nauseous. Just a weak stomach, I guess. I don't know. So I was very nauseous. But then after that, I felt fine. And then I felt really good for the 10 days that I was on the progesterone. And then maybe 3 days ago, she only gave me a 10-day prescription. And I didn't have any bleeding while I was on it. And I've been off it now for 3 days. And still it hasn't, kick-started a period or anything for me. So coming off of it though, I did have a day again of rage. I don't know how to describe those days other than to say I feel ragey. I'm very, very touchy. I was talking to my husband the day after, mostly apologizing. Not that I said anything to him. Like to my credit, I feel like I really keep that to myself, but he can tell. He said, oh yeah, no, like I can tell. So, I apologized. I feel bad that I feel bad that he has to go through this with me. I don't know really what my options are. And, he's so good about it all. So I do apologize the days after, but we were talking about it and I just said, I don't know what to do because as much as I'm trying to control it, I feel like it just wants to run wild. It just feels so horrible. Like I don't even want to be around me. Never mind have anyone else around me. I did that and yeah, I've had no period, no bleeding, no nothing. My follow-up with her is in a couple weeks from now to see what that means. I don't know. And then again, in the portal, I can see my lab results from the blood work that was done. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know how to interpret these results. However, they do come with a range, right? And so when you get your hormones checked on my lab results, it says where my hormone levels are. And so they checked my estradiol and a couple of other things. I can't remember what they all were, but on the graph where it shows the levels I'm at the level of somebody who is postmenopausal. So not where I should be in premenopause, but somebody that's fully been through menopause. So I don't know what that means. Does that mean I'm done? I don't know. I'll have to go talk to her. But you know what? Those results were a little hard. I shouldn't have looked. And I put off looking because I had a feeling it would be upsetting to me. And I can't even really say why it's so upsetting to me, but it was. It's like, here's the hormones that make me female. And mine are almost non-existent. I'm gonna get teary just talking about it. It makes me feel old. I don't know if old is the right word, you guys. I don't know how it makes me feel other than sad. And maybe, okay, I need a minute. Maybe it means nothing. Maybe when I talk to her, it's fine. I don't know what it means. When I looked at those results online, I cried because I just thought, why? Like, did I just go through menopause in a year? Did I just go from start to finish in a year? I don't know, maybe. So that was very upsetting to me. When I go back to see her, I'm sure she will explain all of this to me. But it was shocking and it was upsetting to see those hormone levels just be in the toilet, right? And again, I don't know what it means. I'm not a gynecologist. I don't know, maybe it's fine. But I felt like it wasn't. Yeah, right now I'm not on any meds for anything. I do still take a herbal supplement. I think it's called Menoforce, and it's just sage pills, and they do help with my hot flashes. They help when my hot flashes are mild. When they are cycling to where they're not mild, then it doesn't help. But if they stay mild, I feel like the sage does take the edge off of them a little bit and just helps me to sleep at night. So that's where I'm at. I have a follow-up with her in a couple of weeks to kind of discuss next steps and what all this means. Again, I have no idea what it means. You know, I feel like I'm on this terrible roller coaster and I would really like to get off. This last year has been so impactful just to me, both, you know, my health and physically and mentally. Honestly, mentally, it's been tough. And I don't want anyone to feel like they need to feel sorry for me. They don't. I'm perfectly fine. All of this is fine. I will get through it. You know, that there's no cancer is such a blessing. So I don't want anyone to think that I'm just on here complaining about everything. I mean, I am. But also just really information. I keep saying to all my girlfriends, how in this day and age is this still a surprise for women when we hit perimenopause? Why? Why do doctors not? You know, why is there not? I don't know what I want. I wanted to know what was coming. I didn't want to be so surprised by all of this. I feel like this last year has just been, again, this crazy roller coaster ride that I didn't know was coming. Did I expect hot flashes? Sure. Yeah. The rest of this, no. I was shocked. I was shocked by this whole year. And I don't think I'm alone in that. I think women are shocked when they get to this point. And also, I think a lot of us don't realize that some of these other symptoms we're having are perimenopause symptoms. You know, the fact that I could no longer handle and cope at work, I really do think was perimenopause. I think it was hormone related. Was that job tough? Yeah. Was I burnt out? 100% I was. However, I feel like the hormone changes in my body played a big role in me no longer being able to do that job. But, you know, some of that's just hindsight. That's looking back at that and recognizing that I wasn't able to do the things that I once was able to do. And that change happened pretty quick. So I know I keep using this and you can't get it anymore, but this is a lip liner from Health. It's just the perfect lip liner for me, so I'm sorry. The other two products I'm gonna use on my lips, you can still get. So that's my story, you guys. That's where I'm at. It's been an interesting journey. So I do just overline a little bit, and then I'm gonna go in with this lipstick from Merit in Baby. It's just been my go-to since I got it. Such a pretty, neutral, everyday shade. And then I am gonna top it with a little bit of the Merit lip oil. This is in Bel Air, and it's just their clear one. I know mine looks rough, but it's because I use this almost every day. Can you see that there is almost nothing in there? I don't know if that will show, but I took the stopper out and I'm really digging in there for every last little bit. I have loved this since I got it. Merit did send me this lip oil, but I did purchase that lipstick. I think that was about a year ago actually, and with how much I use this, it has really lasted. That foundation, I will say, is not my favorite. I've tried to use it a few times and it just looks heavy. It just looks heavy on my skin. I know it's looking maybe dewy and nice right here, but it really sets into my lines, and it doesn't seem to matter what I do. It just really wants to settle, and I find myself tapping it out in the day. It's definitely a heavy looking foundation for me, even when I try to sheer it out. But yeah, everything else I think looks pretty good. So there you go. There's my perimenopause update and a full face with my Shop My Stash products. I would love to hear from you guys in the comments. So the last time I did a perimenopause video, I had so many of you reach out, share your story. I was so touched. I was so touched when I did that video by how many people reached out and left a comment and were willing to share their experience. And honestly, it was so touching. So I'm hoping that, you know, this video is helpful to somebody. I'm sure the comments are helpful to some people, just so we know we're not alone. You know, just so we know, and I do think for me, I don't know that I have a lot of girlfriends that are at the point that I'm at. Maybe one, I can think of one. Most of my girlfriends are just starting. And so, you know, I think for them, I hope it's good to hear a little bit of what I've gone through. Not to scare them. My goal is not to scare anybody. I don't want to scare you guys. But I do think there's value in sharing the experience and sharing the information so that, again, if this is happening to you, you know you're not alone. You know, I did have some women reach out and share their experience and share what they've done and share the results of what they've done. You know, usually it's hormone replacement therapy. Well, I'm so excited now to try hormone replacement therapy. But, you know, it gives me hope. It's the light at the end of the tunnel, is that maybe I'll go on HRT and feel better. I mean, fantastic. How great would that be? I've heard from quite a few women that they did. When I first started having perimenopause symptoms, or even prior, when I would think about menopause, I remember having the conversation with the lady who does my nails. I've been going to Brandy for 10 years for my nails. And I remember saying, oh, I think I'll just go all natural. I don't think I'll do anything. Oh my goodness. What? No, give me all the drugs. Honestly, at this point, this has been so disruptive to my quality of life. I don't want natural. So I'll keep doing these videos. I will keep updating you guys in the hopes that maybe somebody else who's going through it doesn't feel alone. Or, you know, maybe you're curious about what this can look like for somebody. This is just my experience, and it varies widely from person to person. You know, I have an aunt, I think I said in the other video, who, you know, didn't notice that she was in perimenopause. She had periods and then she didn't, and that was the only thing she had. Is that true? I don't know, but that's what she says. And so maybe, you know, I hope for all of you that that's what happens. One day you have periods and then the next day you don't, and all the rest of this you never experience. I hope that for everyone. But this has been my reality. This has been what it's been like. And yeah, it's been a challenge. It's been a challenge. And I think that there's value in sharing that it's been a challenge in case there's anyone else who also is experiencing a challenge. Okay, I'll stop talking about perimenopause. I could go on for hours. I could go on and on and on and on, but I'll leave the video here. I thank you so much for watching. I hope this video helps just one person even, right? Just anybody. And I, again, would really appreciate anything you're willing to share in the comments below, because I feel like it's helpful. It's helpful to me, and I'm sure it's helpful to other people. So thank you so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. I'll see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.